Today, Mann.E.Quinn is exploring watercolor paints. Normally, I work with acrylic paints, pencils, markers, some digital formats, and other mediums, so this was a learning process. I started the sketch with a watercolor pencil instead of a regular graphite pencil, as I was worried about the pencil transferring during the painting process or showing through the paint. In this piece, I was exploring a couple of techniques of watercolor. First, wetting the area and then adding the color, allowing it to saturate. I then would add other harmonious colors onto the wet area. My color palette was in the warm range of reds, oranges, and browns. These colors are harmonious as they are on the same side of the color wheel and blend really nicely together because, for example, the oranges are made up of the yellows and reds next to it on the spectrum. These are pleasing to the eye, but at the same time do not offer a lot of contrast unless you add darker shades like black to your color. You can decide here what overall effect you would like, whether you want it to be more subtle or have more contrast in terms of light and dark. At this time of the year, I'm always inspired by the fall colors. The second technique I explored was how to add shading. I found that it was better to add the darker color, like brown, once the first layer dried. Watercolor does not take that much time to dry, but there are hair dryers that you could use to dry your painting faster. I just decided to work on other areas while I waited for that part to dry. When I did it without waiting, it seemed to muddy up the colors. I also realized there's a certain feel for the color if you're using too much water or not enough water, and you can see that in some areas. It created a really dark outline that maybe I didn't want, and then maybe in other areas not enough pigment was being deposited, like on the arms. The last technique I used was in the background. I started with a layer of water, then a light wash of color, and then I used a darker orange and tapped the brush to create sort of subtle blotches that added more interest to the background.